G'day reefers, I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Welcome to Gallery Aquatica TV. Today we're at High Tech Reef, and as you can see there is a beautiful build-up of algae on the glass. Today we're going to reef test one of the newest magnetic cleaners on the market, the Flipper Edge. So the managing director of High Tech Reef, Ben, has been overseas on a skiing trip, and in the time he's been gone, the algae on the glass hasn't actually been cleaned. Now it's been 10 days, so we've got 10 days of build-up, which really makes this the perfect opportunity for us to test out this new Flipper Edge. Now previously this tank has been cleaned with a standard flipper, and we're going to see what the difference is with the new Flipper Edge and how it compares, and then we're going to actually reef test it on this tank and we'll show you the results. So let's have a closer look at the new Flipper Edge. This is the standard Flipper Max, and you can see it has a single blade on the end. It also has the float mechanism. It actually floats these days. The original ones didn't really float so much, and they've also developed this bigger handle so it's easier to grip it. So the Flipper Max or Flipper Max Float is really one of the classic magnet scrapers that we use on tanks like this. It's a really popular magnet cleaner. So let's have a look at the Flipper Edge and see what the differences are. We've got the Flipper here, which is actually used on this tank. You can see it's just a single edge one like this one here, except it doesn't have the big handle, so it's an older model again. These are all magnetic, of course. But let's open up the Flipper Edge Max and have a close look. So we've got some blades in here. Okay. All right, so this is interesting. First of all, you get this divider. Now, I would actually hang on to that because it's good to be able to store your flipper. Oh, they're so strong. It's good to be able to store your flipper with this in between, so it is easier to open it up. But flippers have always been famous for such a strong magnetic hole, but this one seems even stronger than the previous ones. In fact, that's quite interesting. I reckon it is stronger. Anyway, the first thing that I notice, and this is literally the first time I've opened one of these up, is that we've actually got this cool little picture, the logo, and it says Edge down the bottom here. It's a thicker unit too. Like, looking at that, where are we? It's probably about, well actually it's not that much more. It looks like it's thicker, maybe a mil. But I guess that's probably going to float a little bit better than the previous ones, but this is what we're going to find out today. And we don't have any blades in it. It's not loaded already. And I guess we've got the option of either the acrylic, which if you've got an acrylic tank, people typically use acrylic blades so they don't scratch the acrylic. So we're not going to use that one today. And then these other blades, just be careful I don't bend them when I'm removing them from the packet, of course. So these look like, I guess they're stainless steel, but they're quite sharp. Not so much that it'll cut you, but I think that they probably feel a little bit sharper than the old flipper. And I guess that these are going to be a replaceable item. And let's see how we mount them in here. So, haven't read any instructions or anything. I'm going to guess that you just sort of push them in. So by the feel of it, just pushing them into place is all you need. So I'll put the second one in. They're definitely a cool looking unit. You've got the same sort of pad that you do on this old unit. It's well and truly worn off. You can replace those, but maybe the difference I'm looking at with the internal side is it doesn't have these sort of chiseled out sections. And our dry side, like so. So that's it, the Flipper Edge, twin blades on the edges, so each way you're removing algae, and the sort of standard dry side. Let's chuck it in high-tech reef and give it a go. I'm just going to throw it in, see if I can catch it. Oh, well, you can see it floats well. So normally what I do to start off, I throw them down to the glass like that. There we go. It's good to have the glass somewhat clean on the outside so that you don't, if you've got salt creep on the glass, you just sort of smush it around. It's important for me that when I'm using a magnet cleaner, that I've got, first of all, a good grip, but also the right amount of magnetic hold. If you've got too much magnetic hold, if the magnet's too strong, it can be a real workout to do the algae. And if it's not enough, your algae, your wet side will fly off each time you do have a go with it. But this is, it certainly is a strong hold. I'll have a look at what they're rated up to, what size glass. So this is a 12mm thick glass, and the size down from this actually is rated up to 12mm. So this one's probably going to be up to 19, but I'll check that out in a sec. Now, as I said, this is the perfect amount of algae on the tank for this purpose. And by the looks of it, every single time I go past, I get, well, I'm probably getting, I reckon, 90%. Sometimes with like magnet cleaners where the blades are old, you have to go backwards and forwards multiple times before you get the algae. But this looks like 2 swipes. Oh, actually that's got it all there. So 1 or 2 swipes and the algae is gone. I think the other argument for the idea of having the twin blade system is that you've only got blades on the glass, and so there's nothing else which is going to pick up stones or scratch the glass. We'll see how. So it looks like the actual body of the magnet cleaner does sit quite close to the glass. I would always recommend with any magnet cleaner that you're best leaving it out of the tank, so that when you're not using it, so that you don't have growth on the, like algae and coral worms and things like that growing on the magnet cleaner. But this is really the biggest test here. Going into the corners, I like to have control that I can go right to the silicon without pushing into the silicon. We've got some coralline algae here, so let's see how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, well that made short work of the coralline. So I think the control is good. And the idea of the 2 blades, I wasn't too sure if I was going to prefer it or not. I like the fact that I can easily go from the bottom like this up to the top and not have to spin the magnet cleaner around. I think just straight movements with your magnet cleaner makes it easier to avoid picking up things that scratch the tank. I think that looks pretty bloody excellent. Well, I have to say, I am very impressed with the new Flipper Edge. And I think probably the main reason why I like it as someone that does clean a lot of aquariums is just the fact that having the blades on both sides, you can go in one direction and then back in the other direction, and you're actually cleaning both sides in both directions, which means you can go right to the top and right to the bottom. Now, this tank is particularly tall, so I found myself doing the top and then coming and doing the bottom afterwards, but it was more convenient rather than having to flip the flipper around so that you've got the blade in the direction that you're cleaning. I think that I probably could have gone for the size down, the standard size flipper edge on this tank. Because it's 12 mil thick glass, this flipper max edge is actually rated up to, I looked at it on the packet, 24 mil, so double the thickness of this. So this one would be perfect for glass thickness of 15 or 19 mil, which you often get with a lot of the rimless tanks that are available these days. This would definitely be the magnet scraper cleaner that I would be using for a lot of those water box and Red Sea and Cade tanks. But the smaller size would be adequate for the 12 mil like this tank here. I do still like going for the bigger size cleaners. The thickness of the actual blade does speed up the time it takes, and I do like quite a tight grip. I found that the grip on the dry side was very good. Certainly the original flipper with the low profile dry side made it difficult to really clean a tank that was large like this one. It sort of, your hand gets sore after a little while, but these are really good. And something else which I think probably is understated with the flipper is just the fact that because the wet side is so low profile, you're able to get in areas between rocks and corals that are close to the glass that other larger magnet cleaners just won't get into those sort of spaces, or if you do, you'll knock over a coral. So I definitely think that the flipper edge is a really good magnet cleaner. Now, it is more expensive than the standard flipper max, so the question is whether or not it's worth the extra money. And I'm going to say, certainly for someone like myself that does clean a lot of aquariums, a lot of large aquariums, I think it is well and truly worthwhile. The two blades, the twin blade design, for me, it does make cleaning easier, and I was very impressed just with the amount of algae that came off with each swipe of the flipper edge. So that's our reef test of the flipper edge on high-tech reef. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode about the flipper edge, but also looking at this beautiful tank in the background. We'll come back to this tank as well as others in future episodes of Gallery Aquatica TV. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing. So one little trick is to wet your dry side with, what's this, RO water?
RO water. And look how easy that is. And all your grunting and groaning, it's gone.
So the idea that Ben's just said, wet the dry side with RO water. RO water, of course, doesn't make too much of a mess on the glass. And then you've got the strength of the big magnet cleaner, but without the effort of moving it across the glass. So that's a pretty good idea. I might use that in the future. Oh, there we go, I missed a bit. All right, cut. That's it for this week's episode of Gallery Aquatica TV. Don't forget to like and comment on all our videos and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned to Gallery Aquatica TV for more exciting episodes to come. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing!